Gone on base at a good clip here.
Upstairs. Down in 2-0. Always a case of finding the strike zone. You are Dyer, especially as the outing goes on. This is foul out of play. Down in 2 balls and 1 strike.
Sounds like it's going to be a group effort today for the Wranglers. They haven't played in a bit because of the rain here in the Great Plains region, the Front Range region here. So they're going to go with a bunch of their POs, pitcher onlys today. Evan Dyer is just the first to throw.
Had a game that was scheduled last week against Western Nebraska that got postponed due to rain. 2-2 the count on Kingston Lee. With the 2-2 awaiting. Dyer delivers another fastball, this time full count. What's your mindset as a catcher when the count runs full?
You just want to try and attack the zone as best as possible. Try and read swings in previous at-bats or in the current at-bat. He's been patient here.
As he fouls away the ensuing pitch. Off a long extended at-bat. The standoff continues.
Jaden and Tommy are teammates at Coalinga College.
So here's the payoff. Grounded foul. So again, the payoff with 1 out for Kingston Lee. Dyer set to deliver. And a strikeout. So a strikeout of Kingston Lee brings on Christian McKernan for Nebraska.
Christian McKernan, powerful bat, able to get out of a little bit of a slump that he was in, reaching all but one of his 6 at-bats. 4 of those coming on free passes. He did have an RBI single, though. He went 1 for 2.
And this time he sees a descending pitch from Dyer. Evan Dyer straight to his battery teammate and brother, Kyle. The 1-0 awaiting for McKernan. Line drive through for a hit. Christian McKernan continues his ways with hits in back-to-back games as he has the single.
I really like that approach there from McKernan. Not afraid to go the other way. Able to find that 4-hole there with the 2-out single. These Outlaws have done a lot of damage. That 10-run inning yesterday, all of those runs coming with 2 outs.
So here is Isaiah Murillo. Dyer delivers a fastball for a strike.
Isaiah Murillo, the Gearing native, attending Peru State.
Another fastball again from Dyer. And quickly, the Gearing native down 0-2. With McKernan on first, with 2 outs, the top half of the second of a scoreless game. Dyer delivers as his hat flew off his head. You don't see that every day.
It is a bit of a windy one, that wind blowing from left to right. It'll be interesting to see if that will play with the outfielders at all on those fly balls.
And if there is plenty of carry, that could lead to some mishaps in the outfield. The 0-2 climbed the ladder. So the count had 2 balls and 2 strikes on Murillo. The 2-2 awaiting. And Kernan with the lead on first. Here is the 2-2 pitch from Evan Dyer. And another strikeout. Back-to-back Ks from Evan Dyer to close out the inning. In top half of the second, Nebraska with no runs off 1 hit, no errors, off 19 pitches and 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the second, scoreless here from Morgan County. Welcome back to Fort Morgan. Noah Dupaya steps in to face Alan Seepersod for the first time today. Takes the first pitch strike. We apologize for the technical difficulties for those watching online. Ensuing pitch heads to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike on Noah Dupaya. With Nebraska with only 1 hit in the game as Noah Dupaya records first hit of the game for Morgan County. He's aboard of a single. So Noah Dupaya with a leadoff single to start the second.
If you're Alon Seepersod, you're going to want to try and get that ground ball double play here, trying to eliminate that runner. And if you're the hitters for the Wranglers, you're going to want to try and hit the ball to the right side, move that runner over as best as you can, especially with McKernan holding runner on at first. There's a big hole over there on the right side of the infield.
Seepersod faces Nick Griffin. Fouls the initial pitch. Brings the count 0-1. For Griffin. Takes an ensuing strike. But for Griffin, hometown of Thornton, Colorado. Not too far away from us, due to the northwest. Here's the 0-2 pitch awaiting for Griffin, and he strikes out.
I really like how much Seepersod has lived in the zone so far today. That hit from Dupaya did jam Dupaya. He's just able to muscle that right in the right spot up the middle. Get that leadoff single.
With Dupaya on first. Ferguson takes one outside. Look at Braden Ferguson and his story on the season for Morgan County, as he takes an ensuing ball. But for Ferguson, talk about appearances. This is 11th game of the season. Batting 207 as he took a swing, quickly down 2-1. So here's the 2-1. Juan Seepersod delivers one outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
This is the first count to get more than one ball in the at bat. I know it's still early, but that's really what you want to see from your pitcher is filling up that zone with all of your pitches.
Ferguson grounds one foul to run the count full. And for Seepersod, with one out, bottom half of the second already at 20 pitches for what it's worth. But Morgan County begins a stretch. Pop up in front of the Morgan County dugout and out of play. But these two teams to meet again tomorrow. And Morgan County to be in action on Tuesday, Sunset Park against the Men's and Arrows of Colorado. What factors to be an entertaining night? Line drive into left, near the wall, descending and dropped. Dropped by C.J. King. Dupaya comes around to third. Staying put is Ferguson. The throw home at the plate. Out is Dupaya. So it was a missed catch by King. Dupaya, ambitious, aiming to come home from first, is thrown out at the plate. Ferguson, however, heads to second.
And ambitious is right. Don't necessarily want to go for it this early on in the game, especially with
Pop
only one out at the time.
and popped up by Yusei. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. As that closes out the inning, we are still scoreless. Here from Morgan County, we head to the third inning here on Hometown Radio KFTM.
Out here, your ride takes a beating during the winter months. Snow, salt, slush, mud, gunk. You name it, your vehicle has driven through it. Maybe it's time to pamper your ride with a professional car detailing from Shine On Automotive. They even offer ceramic coating, which makes all that gunk come off super easy. Shine On Automotive even offers interlock device installation. Stop in today to Shine On Automotive. Special occasions, holidays, or just because. The women in your life deserve Double R embroidery. At Double R, we've got custom drinkware and a big water cup, which every woman deserves to own. Does she have a birthday coming up? Maybe she landed that promotion or nailed her big meeting. Or perhaps you just want her to know how special she is to you. Find her the gift that says so at Double R Embroidery in downtown Fort Morgan. Shop us in-store or online at doublershop.com.
We begin the third inning. Here from Eddie Underwood Field, new pitcher for Morgan County and Brody Smears, replacing Evan Dyer after 2 innings pitched. Pitch count of 26, which included 3 strikeouts. So Smears steps in. Evan Dyer, 2 innings pitched, clean up to this stage for Morgan County. A lot of optimism from that recent outing from Evan Dyer.
And this is going to be tough for those Outlaws hitters. They're going to be seeing a lot of different pitchers today. There's not really going to be a chance to adjust AB to AB. They have seen Smear a fair amount in his 12 and 2/3 innings here in the Front Range League.
Takes the first pitch downstairs. That being Grayson Matlock. 1-0 the count. This time painted the outside of the strike zone. And the count at 2-0 for Matlock.
Matlock, a switch hitting catcher, one of the younger guys on this team. He's across 2026.
The 2-0 fouled back. And being in that 8 spot, certainly look for production for the top of the order. 2-1 the count. Smear delivers in the air to center. Griffin makes the catch for the out. So a line out to Nick Griffin. Brings on C.J. King, who made the defensive play last inning. Although he couldn't make the catch out and left, he did spur the throw to throw out Dupaya at home. Bennett a run from scoring. See what he can do in the batter's box this time. A grounder that dribbles foul.
CJ King playing his first game in the outfield today for the Outlaws. Typically an infielder.
Second offering to CJ King from Smear outside of even the count, 1-1 strike.
CJ King, another one of those Coalinga athletes that fill this Front Range League, playing for TC Fairfield, head coach of the Wranglers.
Fairfield, his roots in the California region primarily. And paying the outside zone was Smear. 2-1 the count. As the duel continues, the 2-1. Shopper played by Ramsey at short. Throw to first in time for the out of King.
I really like this adjustment by the bottom of the order. They had 3 strikeouts last inning against Dyer, putting a lot more balls in play. Matlock caught a good barrel, just hit it right at the center fielder, Griffin. See what Basie can do here in his second at bat.
Here is Basie, who was hit by a pitch coming from Evan Dyer in the first. With 2 outs, and Basie is hit again.
Make that 11 on the summer for Braden Basie, who's been an on-base machine for these Outlaws.
And it doesn't matter the route it takes. Basie aboard yet again. Second hit by pitch in this game. Brings on Gideon Leslie.
Leslie just a little bit unlucky last time, flying out into that double play. Basie tripping a little bit, going back around second base.
First offering from Smear down the corner. Just missed the corner for ball 1. 1-0 to Leslie. Runner goes, throw to second, and safe is Basie. So granted the stolen base for Braden Basie.
If you're Hoshi, you say you want to try and get in front of second base on that tag there, make it a little bit quicker, giving yourself a better shot to get Basie, but instead he fielded that ball behind Basie.
Did have a juggle too. Fastball from Smear. 2-1 the count. These two teams to meet again tomorrow with first pitch roughly 25 hours from now. As Leslie fouls back the ensuing pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 gone in the top half of the third.
See if the Outlaws can do more damage here with 2 outs. They've done a lot of it all summer, did a lot of it last night.
So here's the 2-2. Runner goes. The throw to third gets away. As Gus Brumbaugh had to shield the throw from Kyle Dyer. Second stolen base for Braden Basie. Go ahead run 90 feet away with the count run full.
I really like that over there by third by Brumbaugh. Just keeping that in front, knowing that if that ball gets behind him, it will score a run.
Playing goalkeeper, line drive, and down for a hit from Leslie. Basie comes in to score, and Nebraska leads it 1-0.
And more creation from Braden Basie. He was able to manufacture that run there by himself, stealing second and third, making that RBI single, scoring a run.
And when you look at how Basie is so adept at being on base, you see how he's very well familiar with running the base paths. Leslie returns back to first. A great production produced in that instance. With 2 outs for Xander Martinez in a 1-0 game. A fastball from Smearer needs to ball 1. What are you telling yourself if you are Brody Smearer?
You just want to try and get out of this inning as best as you can. Can't let that get in your head, as these Outlaws are prone to adding on and putting up crooked numbers. You just want to try and get out of this inning with just the 1 run.
That, and also Morgan County, they are in search of their offense. 1-1 to Martinez. Throw to first, gets away. Leslie digs for second. He'll have it with ease. Digging for third, and he is safely there off the throwing error.
That's exactly what you can't do there if you're Brody Smearer. You gotta try and limit the mistakes. That was a great run produced by Braden Basie, but this run, if Leslie can score, this one will be primarily on Smearer after that throwing error, advancing Leslie 2 bases.
Still 1-1 for Martinez. Lifted in the air to left, and this is down for a hit. So another RBI single for Nebraska that scores Leslie as Martinez brings him home. It's a 2-0 lead. On what was a long driven single by Martinez, and barely hunched its way inside the third baseline. But a 2-0 lead. Fouled back pitch from Jaden Barrio. With Martinez on first with 2 outs. As Smearer, as we mentioned, looks to limit the damage, which has been 2 runs up to this point in the third inning. In tight on Barrio, but enough for a strike.
The Outlaws have been good all year at capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. That's why they're in first place in that Front Range League.
And a strikeout to end the inning from Smearer Barrio. As that retires the side in the top half of the third, Nebraska scores 2 runs off of 2 hits and 1 error. With 1 left on, we head to the bottom of the third inning. You're listening to Morgan County Wranglers baseball on Hometown Radio KFTM.
We are going out tonight.
I just put my comfy pants on. What are we celebrating?
I just bundled our home and auto insurance with State Farm agent Amy Grantham and saved us money.
Oh, nice.
Are you serious? We just bundled. Plus, Amy helped me personalize our coverage.
But what about this bundle? My slippers and sweatpants.
I'm ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Morgan County.
Like it's very basic. Options like this with availability, discount, savings, and eligibility may vary. In the middle of the season, downtown in Boston, with lenses and mannequin fuse-up products, you're backed by local dealers who know how important uptime is. And act fast when you need them. With response, reliable repairs, support that keeps you moving. Contact your local Somatic dealer for superior irrigation and electric. 970-483-7247 or stop in at 115 Central Avenue in Lincoln for fast, dependable irrigation service. Hey there, it's Dustin from A&R Automotive and Tire. We believe in the power of preventative maintenance. Pull up today because saving yourself a whole lot of heartache and an empty wallet down the road. We offer everything from oil changes to tire rotations to keep your car in tip-top shape. So give us a call today at A&R Automotive and Tire. Let's keep your ride running smooth. It's a lot easier to prevent a problem than to fix one. Trust us. Visit us at A&R Automotive and Tire and Brush because a smoother ride starts here.
Ground ball from Tyler Lewis. Throw by Leslie is in time for the out. One pitch, one out for Tyler Lewis. Brings on Gus Brumbaugh for Morgan County. Adding in the 9-hole. As Prasad delivers one, paints the bottom of the strike zone. Bring the count 0-1. I mentioned Prasad at the beginning. Another fastball leads to a strike. Quickly ahead in the count. 0-2 is Alon Prasad. Ground ball played on for the throw. That is safe. Tough play for Kingston Lee with the throw to first. But Gus Brumbaugh is aboard for what is deemed a hit. So Ty Ramsey steps in. With the top of the order for Morgan County in a 2-0 contest. Prasad delivers, slapped foul. We mentioned the road trips. For you, Bob Parsons, having been on plenty of road trips, what was the most legendary road trip you've ever had?
We really like playing Mafia on our road trips.
The 0-1 pitch painted outside. Even if it's the count 1-1.
We really like playing Mafia on those Outlaw road trips, and it's really exciting when you get a lot of the players involved. You can do some more roles, get more Mafia members, and it makes it a little bit more complicated and fun.
Diving to make the catch is Jaden Barrio out in center field. On a pop fly that was in front of him, he dives head first to make the catch. On what is a play that is much more difficult than it looks.
Yeah, I tried playing outfield the other day in our scrimmage with players, and that did not go well. Was never an outfielder. Can't read a fly ball to save my life. And there was a couple instances where I did not read the fly ball that well.
Jaden Barrio says, I got your back. Count 1-0. With 2 outs. Strike 1 taken. Who usually wins in Mafia?
Tegan Maloney's pretty good.
Grounder from Dolan and shoveled by Martinez. What was a hurried throw that puts him aboard. Unorthodox, but Errol Dolan is aboard.
Coach McCoy is out to talk to the umpires. He's not super pleased with that call there. Definitely looked like a bang bang play.
That puts 2 runners aboard. Brumbaugh at second. See what the catcher Kyle Dyer does for Morgan County. Trailing 2-0. Fouled back. The first pitch delivered by C. Prasad.
C. Prasad has been living in the zone a lot today, and I really like that out of him, being able to get efficient outs as well.
Ensuing pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. But for Kyle Dyer, playing Division II Cal State East Bay. Ground ball. Kingston Lee with the throw over to first in time for the out, and that retires the side. Where it was in the bottom half of the third, Morgan County with no runs, 2 hits, no errors, with 2 left on base. We head to the 4th inning with Nebraska up 2-0 here on the Morgan County Wranglers hometown radio network, KFTN.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Gears. Mike, hey Culligan, I've tried every skincare and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like candy. It could be your water, Mike. Oh, that's harsh. More like hard water. Are you interested in smart high-efficiency water softness from Culligan Water? Want baby smooth, clean, and soft, luxurious hair? Yeah, can you hurry? We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com. Rudy's Tires helps you keep your commitments. With tried and true BF Goodrich semi tires offered at competitive, consistent pricing across all Rudy's Tires locations. Their full lineup covers every size, every style, and every job to keep your trucks performing at their best. Rudy's Tires has the options built to handle the demands of the best at hand. If you need help on the road or in the field, their mobile service trucks come to you wherever the work takes you. Rudy's Tires, we want to roll with you. Learn more at rudy'stires.com. There are builders, and then there are game changers. At Buildings by Design, we make the process simple. From small ag shops to large commercial builds, they can handle your project from start to finish, keeping things on schedule and on budget, all without ever compromising on quality. Experience you can trust, precision you can see, and quality you can stand on. Buildings by Design. Start your project today at buildingsbydesign.com.
We return you to the top half of the 4th inning with a 2-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County. Bach joined alongside Bob Parsons. So you see Concordia's own Brody Smearer step on for what is his 2nd inning of work, and he's set to face Kingston Lee for Nebraska. With the Outlaws scoring 2 runs in the top half of the 3rd inning. Smear's ensuing pitch dealt downstairs for ball 1. Smear, certainly one that likes to enjoy himself outside of pitcher's mound. Enjoy playing the guitar on his personal time. Did you ever play? You ever guitar in your heyday?
No, I have not played guitar. Not a totally musically inclined person. I enjoy music. I wish I could play the guitar. Just don't have that skill.
See, count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled back. Off a swinging strike. Played the recorder back in the heyday. Does that count?
Close enough.
Recorder, then upgraded to clarinet for a hint. That was quite the time, though. 1-2. to Kingston Lee as he stays alive.
These Outlaws putting together really good at bats so far. Just being patient at the plate, finding the ways on, making all the right decisions with all the small things in the game is why they're ahead 2-0 right now.
So here's the 2-2 pitch to Kingston Lee. Lift in the air to center. Griffin with a run. This falls for a hit. So a leadoff single for Kingston Lee for Nebraska.
Kingston Lee didn't get a ton of barrel on that one, but it doesn't matter. He's able to muscle it out there to center. Able to fall in front of Griffin.
And sometimes it's not the prettiest of contacts. Called strike on Christian McKernan.
It's normally better to be lucky than good in this game. Kingston Lee just happened to be lucky with that one.
The count at 1-0 on McKernan. Will had a hit early on. Grounder, throw by Brumbaugh, throw second to first. And the out at second is recorded of Lee. But Brumbaugh initiated the play, but only the no 6-4-3 double play as McKernan is aboard. Brings on Isaiah Maria. With McKernan on first. Fouled back by Maria.
Should be interesting to see who they go to next. Seems like they're probably going to do 2 innings with most of their pitchers here. Gotta imagine they're probably going to bring somebody new in after Smearer.
See what the tail of tape says after this inning. First 2 outs to go for Smearer in his regard, as he's ahead on Maria 0-2. But Nebraska, again, they'll play tomorrow against Morgan County. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. Throw to first. And safely returning was McKernan. So another strikeout for a Wranglers pitcher. That brings the count up to 5 for the combination of Evan Dyer and Brody Smearer as a whole. Here's Grayson Matlock. Elevated foul. But for Nebraska, how about 4 games in a row against Morgan County? Many pundits expect these two teams to meet in the playoffs. So you might see a lot of this matchup in the future. The 0-1 sailed away from Matlock.
These 2 next games are really big, especially for the top of that division. The Outlaws were able to regain first place for the first time in a while with their win last night over the Pioneers.
An 18-12 victory, fouled back by Matlock. And you look at where things were a week ago. Morgan County was in first place in the Front Range League. Nebraska has been on a tear, in the air to right and down for a hit. McKernan heading for third, and Matlock heads to second. Coming home is McKernan at the plate. He is safe, and Nebraska leads it 3-0. So a 3-0 lead for Nebraska. And you talk about padding your lead. Already a good start for the visitors.
Both these teams are prone to score runs in bunches, so you're going to want to score as much as possible when you can.
CJ King takes the first pitch strike. That will pause for station identification here on Morgan Wranglers Baseball.
What kind of 80s music I like? I like a little bit more of like the rock.
1400 KFTM.
Swinging strike from CJ King. The count 0-2, 3-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County. The 0-2. And a strikeout. And that retires aside. In the top half of the fourth inning, Nebraska with 1 run off 2 hits, no errors. With 1 left on, you're listening to Morgan County Wranglers Baseball, Hometown Radio, KFTM.
McDonald Toyota Fort Morgan is part of the McDonald Automotive Group that has been serving Colorado since 1965. As your Toyota dealer in Fort Morgan, they have a wide selection of new Toyota models along with hundreds of quality pre-owned vehicles across the McDonald Automotive Group. They believe doing right comes naturally, and they treat customers with a personal attention that can be hard to find. Proud to be your local new car dealer, McDonald Toyota, off Exit 80 in Fort Morgan. Online at McDonaldToyotaFortMorgan.com. Every business is something bad, something good fun. But the one thing they all need, a trusted partner to help them grow. At Bank of Colorado, that's what treasury management is all about. Being by your side with smarter payment technology, admin tools, and protection from fraud. Request a no obligation demo at bankofcolorado.com/demo. Bank of Colorado. There's only one. Member FDIC.
Country Hardware is making it easier than ever to get the job done. Now you can order online at countrydoitbesthardware.com and choose same-day pickup or ship to store. Click it, pick it, and get back to work. Country Hardware has the tools, the lumber, and the expert advice you can trust. Right now, they've got 2x4s, 2x6s, plywood, and drywall in stock. Skip the hassle and start your project with confidence. Country Hardware, 218 Main Street in Wigan, and order online at countrydoitbesthardware.com.
3-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County. So we see Noah Dupaya step into the batter's box. He had the first hit of the day for Morgan County. On Seepersod, still on the mound for Nebraska. Downstairs for ball 1. But you look at the schedule up ahead for that of Nebraska. We mentioned this at the beginning of 4 games in a row against Morgan County, including a game on July the 3rd. Swinging strike from Dupaya. That game on July the 3rd, a celebration of America's 250th anniversary. Swing and a miss from Dupaya. Count at 0-2. And then for Nebraska, they get to face Western Nebraska on the 4th. What a celebration that should be.
That should be a fun one for sure. Those two teams facing each other a lot. It's always an exciting one. 30 combined runs scored last night. The fireworks show post game.
Thought that was an extension of the game, the way things went. Sailed outside by Seepersod. Run the count full. It's the most scoring you've seen in a game. Is it that game earlier on in the year? That 24-14 game?
Yes, it is. That was a very high scoring affair. The Outlaws took down the Pioneers. Those two teams are prone to scoring a lot of runs, and they did it again last night.
Time called by Dupaya. scoring to the nature of a pinball machine. When was the last time you played pinball?
It's definitely been a minute.
And a strikeout of Dupaya. Nick Griffin steps in with one gone in the bottom half of the fourth. A friend of mine had one in his house, so that led to some entertaining games, and that was in the same place as his weight room. So you talk about pumping iron and also recording a high score. 2 for the price of 1. A unique setup. Fouled back by Griffin.
And Seebersad's just been living in that zone. Really efficient so far.
Towards the right. In foul territory and out of play.
So that's what pitching coach AC has kind of talked about when they've been here, to really limit those free passes and limit, because this ballpark can be placed small for sure at times, and you want to try and limit those home runs to being solo home runs.
The 0-2 in tight, and a strikeout. Another one from Seepersod. That's sufficient for his fourth. Brings on Braden Ferguson. And again, the question for Morgan County is, can they solve a Nebraska pitcher?
Brock Berry was able to have a lot of success back on Tuesday. 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts. Seepersod continuing that.
The count at 0-1. Pitch that sailed close to Ferguson. 1 ball in, 1 strike. Grounder. Leslie at short is there. The throw to first is in time for the out. And that retires the side. No runs off of no hits, no errors, none left on. We head to the 5th inning. In a 3-0 game, Nebraska out in front. Back after this on Hometown Radio, KFTM.
While most businesses return their profits to outside investors, Premier Farm Credit believes it's important to add cooperative ownership. Premier Farm Credit believes it's important to put our profits in our customers' pockets. $7.25 million will be returned to our members in cash. Swing into any of our Sterling, Fort Morgan, or Holyoke branches today. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in agriculture. When it comes to fixing your car, truck, or tractor, you don't want guesswork. You want the right part the first time. That's why local Smart Car Collectors in Fort Morgan. Great people who actually know what they're doing. Great prices of accounting. And great prices of the team at Smart Smart. Take the time to get exactly what you need. Smart Car Collectors. Great people, great products, great prices. East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. No matter the project, Salisbury Supply in Fort Morgan has the parts to get it done. Their team makes the impossible possible, especially when it comes to tracking down those hard-to-find parts. The tougher the search, the more they deliver. Farm, industrial, and oilfield supplies, plus a full line of welding supplies and welding gas. Trust Salisbury Supply. Power up your operation with a visit to Salisbury Supply, just south of the railroad tracks at 119 South Main Street in Fort Morgan.
3-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County. Danny Bob joined alongside Bob Parsons. As we see new pitcher yet again for Morgan County. After Brody Smear went 2 innings, facing 11 batters off 37 pitches, with allowing 4 hits and 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Silas Bauke steps in, and first pitch he delivers for ball 1. Bauke did see action in Morgan County's last game, that against Nebraska, in a game that ended up lasting 7 innings with a foul dealt to Braden Basie. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, and Basie took a swing. But for Smear in his outing, there's somewhat clean play, except a few mistakes here and there as pitch sails wide of Kyle Dyer from Bauke and count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The Outlaws just able to capitalize on those base runners they were able to get against Smearer.
Count runs full, but you have to think about the throwing error. And then spectacular individual effort as another foul off the bat of Basie.
These Outlaws just really good today at doing the small things right.
And a strikeout to start the evening for Bauke. Brings on Gideon Leslie. 1 of 2 today. Leslie looks to continue a spectacular weekend. But for Morgan County, you got league game today. Strike dealt by Bauke. League game tomorrow at Oregon Trail Park against the same Outlaws. Ducking was Leslie. And after that, have non-league game against the Men's and Arrows of Colorado. Into right center field. Dolan backing up, and he lets one fall. Digging for second, Gideon Leslie is safe with a double.
We talked about the wind earlier playing a factor. It definitely played a factor there as that ball just started running away from Dolan out there in right.
And you talk about one of the places balls can carry, especially out in right. That goes to the benefit of Leslie, who is aboard with a double. His second hit of the game matches his 2 that he hit last night. Still a long way to go from his 5 runs that he scored. With 1 gone, first pitch to Xander Martinez for ball 1. One
Big,
0 the count.
big hole on that right side of the infield. Would like to see Xander Martinez try and go the other way.
Count at 2-0.
Especially with the way this grass plays and Leslie's speed, he's likely to score on a ball to the outfield.
3 pitches, 3 balls to Martinez. You say encroaching. Here's the 3-0. Much needed strike for Martinez. 3-1. Bauke delivers. Full count. Down the corner of the strike zone on Martinez. Payoff pitch awaiting with Leslie on second. Martinez stays alive. And the celebration of the 4th of July coming up next weekend for both Nebraska and Morgan County. In the air to left. Descending is Ferguson, and he makes the catch for out number 2. So Ferguson with the catch out in left field. 2 gone in the top half of the 5th. Brings on Jaden Burrell.
Jaden Burrell, the RBI king of the Front Range League. He's got another one out there. The Outlaws have been good all summer with 2 outs. We'll see if they can continue that trend here.
As is the trend here in this game. Strike 1 dealt to Burrell.
All 3 runs scoring with 2 outs this evening.
Inside on Burrell. 1 ball in, 1 strike.
Jaden Burrell out of Eastvale, California, just outside of Los Angeles.
Fastball inside again. 2-1 the count. So the Yuma, Colorado native, a wild pitch. That sends Leslie to third.
Not going to do much there. Leslie was probably going to score on a base hit anyways. This makes it so that Bauke cannot do that again. Leslie was unlikely to steal third, especially with 2 outs.
Now here's the 3-1. And a walk. Runners on the corners for Kingston Lee. So Lee with runners on the corners with 2 outs. And Nebraska opportune at bats have been the story of this game, as has been the case for the year. First pitch sailed. Leaning outside to the right. 1-0 the count. With Rio lurking on first. Kickoff attempt sends Barrio firmly secured at first. And the 1-0 to Kingston Lee. In tight. Ball 2. The count at 2-0. Runner goes. Foul back by Lee.
Rio does have good speed over there on first base. Got to imagine if Lee can find a gap, Rio has a chance to score, especially with 2 outs. He's getting a head start on contact.
Not to mention you have Leslie parked at third. What already is a 3-0 lead for Nebraska. The 2-1 pitch with contact played by Ramsey. Throw to first is in time to retire the side, where it was in the top half of the 5th inning. It's Nebraska that scores no runs off 1 hit, no errors. With 2 left on, you're listening to Morgan County Wranglers Baseball on Hometown Radio, KFTN.
Early morning, most folks do plan to gone. Everyone else still playing. So here's a simple thing. Slide it on. Share 3 minutes of absolutely the call. Track your time. Everything else. You set for the busy day ahead. Boss Barn Truck and Auto. In Fort Morgan and Ray.
Buying new homes should feel exciting, but let's be honest, it can get stressful fast. At Northern Colorado Title, they understand that your future is closer. Their team needs easy, step-by-step communication, careful attention, and dependable support when it matters most. From the first step to the final signature, your focus on the process. It's experienced title, protecting one of life's biggest investments. Go where experience counts. Northern Colorado Title. Online at ncts.com.
bottom of the fifth. 3-0 lead for Nebraska and Morgan County. Gangbach joined alongside Bob Parsons as we see Hoshi Yusei for the second time tonight. Juan Seepersod, he has been stellar up to this point. He looks to continue that in the fifth as he faces the bottom of the order. First pitch to Yusei is dealt for ball one.
Seepersod is going to turn it over to Bumjin Cho at some point tonight.
Rounder by Yusei, and he is out at first. So here's Tyler Lewis. So Lewis steps in. First pitch, ball is dealt. The count at 1-0. And strike. 1-1 the count.
Got to give a shout out to Tommy Quintana and Jaden Chavera, still standing outside their respective dugouts. They've been standing the whole game since the national anthem.
It's been a standoff that continues. Chavera had 3 outings earlier this season. 2-2 the count.
Currently dealing with a little bit of arm issues, a little bit of injury for him.
Here's the 2-2. And the strikeout. Brings on Gus Brumbaugh.
And Seepersod has been dialed to say the very least. Just 3 hits in this one. Only 4 base runners, 4 of them reaching on an error. No free passes so far for Seepersod.
4 2/3. Skipped in the dirt behind home plate. For ball one on Brumbaugh. How far do you see Seepersod going?
If he's having success against this lineup, you just got to run him out there as long as you can within his pitch limit. A lot of these guys here in the Front Range League, they are under a pitch limit from their colleges. So can't imagine Seepersod's probably going to go more than 6.
He's at 57. Slapped into left and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Seepersod playing over at Highland College in Illinois.
In the air to left. And against the sun, missing the catch is C.J. King. Brumbaugh heads to second with a double. So that's the 5th hit given up by Seepersod. Top of the order for Ty Ramsey. All this in a 3-0 lead for Nebraska. We've seen Nebraska score all of their runs courtesy with 2 outs. Ramsey takes the first pitch ball. So here's the 1-0. Grounder straight towards Seepersod. Underhands to first. And that retires the side as It's been C. Prasad that has been clicking on all cylinders up to this point. No runs off of one hit, no errors, and one left on base. We head to the sixth inning here on Morgan County Wranglers Baseball.
When it comes to your next chapter, it helps to work with a bank that knows the neighborhood. That's FMS Bank. Whether you're buying your first place, building something new, or using your bridge loan to get you there, we're here to help. With a full range of mortgage options, flexible new construction financing, cash out refinances, and the kind of personal service you only get from a community bank that truly believes in its community. FMS Bank, a proud partner in your success. Local housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 40949.
Some dealerships focus only on sales. Morgan County Motors, that's just the beginning. From routine oil changes and window tinting to dependable service that keeps you moving, our team is ready to help. Bought your vehicle somewhere else? No problem. Because around here, service matters more than where you buy it. Morgan County Motors, your go-to dealership, your go-to shop. MorganCountyMotors.com. When the world is falling apart because of war, oil prices, and fertilizer costs. When winter comes but forgets the snow, and spring doesn't even bother to spit on you, it's bad to buy in a rush. When interest rates destroy your hope for the immediate future, and inflation sucks the joy out of your paycheck so you can't even enjoy a tasteless fast food burger without cringing, maybe it's time to invest in something that still delivers real value. Morton Building, a true American icon. Built tough, built right. Morton Building, 970-867-9454.
Top of the sixth inning from Fort Morgan, Colorado. Danny Bach joined alongside Bob Parsons with Nebraska leading 3-0 on Morgan County. Silas Bauke in his second inning of service. First pitch ball dealt to Christian McKernan. McKernan did have hit earlier on, as he's 1 for 2 today. Quickly head 2-0. You're a part of back-to-back days dueling between Nebraska and Morgan County. 3-0 the count on McKernan. The 3-0. Much needed strike for Bauke. Through 30 pitches so far. Here's the 3-1. Hit him.
McKernan's been hit a lot recently. Last night he was hit by a pitch 3 times.
Can you say ouch?
You gotta find a way on any way possible. And then Basie been getting hit a lot recently. Basie already hit twice in this one.
From a level of 1 to 10, as Isaiah Murillo takes the first pitch strike, how much pain is it when you get hit?
Well, it depends on what pitch they're throwing. It depends on where you get hit. There's a bunch of factors. That one in the back's not going to feel great. If you can get one on your thigh, you're normally pretty good. You might just have a little bit of a bruise. You don't want to get hit on your hand or your elbow, though. The elbow that does not feel good.
What's the worst that you've ever taken?
Probably on the elbow. If they hit you right on the end.
Well, Murillo, instead of being hit by the elbow, he's hit in the back. Back-to-back hit by pitches. Sends McKernan over to second, Murillo to first.
If you're Bauke, your job here is to just keep your offense in this game. Morgan County has been good this year at scoring runs, especially against these Outlaws. Have not had success recently with '11 straight scoreless innings dating back to Tuesday.
Matlock sends one in the air to right and down for a hit. McKernan got the side home. He's in to score. It's a 4-0 lead for Nebraska. Talk about making the most of an impact. Nebraska capitalizing off of hit by pitches. Murillo is at second base, but Matlock with an RBI single. A lot is going right for the Outlaws of Nebraska, as they have been riding the law. Still nobody out in top half of the sixth in a 4-0 game.
You talked about what the Outlaws can do with those crooked numbers. If you're the Wranglers pitching staff here, you're going to want to try and limit that from happening and not letting this inning get out of hand.
We saw that game that took place last week on Tuesday. It was a 2-0 game going into the top half of the seventh inning. And then the game got away. 5 runs scored by Nebraska, and a thunderstorm that caved in, and that did the end of the game. So here's CJ King with runners on second and first, with nobody out in a 4-0 lead for the visitors from Gering, Nebraska. Outside for ball one. 1-0 the count. 1-0 awaiting, and again painting the outside of the strike zone up sufficient for strike one. Evens up the count. The 1-1. Strike two.
This is a big first out that you need to get, and for CJ King, you want to try and, even if you are getting out, you want to try and make it a productive out.
The 1-2 sails away, and what a catch by Kyle Dyer. You're Morgan County, you do not want to give Nebraska any inches, even though they've already done that up to this stage. Here's the 2-2. Full count.
And the free passes last night are what let the Outlaws back into this game, and that's what they've used to extend their lead here in the top half of the sixth.
The payoff. Fouled. What's your impression of the speed on the base paths in a juncture like this?
Murillo, pretty good wheels over there at second. Matlock being a catcher doesn't have necessarily the best legs. But Murillo can show off that athleticism at times. He's played all over the field for these Outlaws. He can play center field. He can play second base.
In the air to left. It drops and gets through. Murillo, he's got the speed coming into the plate. He scores. Matlock, he digs for third base. Safely there. And it's a 5-0 lead for Nebraska.
And if you're Ty Ramsey over there, you got to keep that ball in front of you.
So a 5-0 lead. And with that, the floodgates again and bursted open for Nebraska. Their lead at 5. That break in the action will return you here to Fort Morgan. 5-0 lead. You're in the top half of the 6th on KFTM.
Slow smoked barbecue. sprinkles on a toasted brioche bun. Go with sweet barbecue or a little heat. Grab it as a sandwich or dig into a mac and cheese bowl. Try the meat and 3-box. Your choice of a classic roast beef or crispy chicken sandwich plus 2 sides to drink, all for just $7.99. And early risers get 2 sourdough breakfast sandwiches for only $5.99. These deals won't wait, so head to Arby's in Fort Morgan today. Fuel your journey with something new from Corp CDJR in Fort Morgan. Proudly rooted in Northeast Colorado, Corp CDJR offers an impressive lineup just for you. Experience the defined luxury of Chrysler, the power and performance of Dodge or Ram, and the rugged capabilities of a Jeep. Their knowledgeable and local team provides an enhanced customer experience, all while maintaining the hometown values you've always trusted. Corp CDJR in Fort Morgan, 1221 Main Street, or corpchrysler.jeepramfortmorgan.com. You've got miles to go on that summer road trip, but in the back seat, you've got some angry passengers. Here's the easy fix. Make a stop at Studs, powered by Green Fuels in Wiggins, for a road trip reset. Hot meals from the deli, morning, noon, or night. Plus, their convenience store is open 7 days a week, packed with the essentials for wherever you're headed, along with hunting and fishing licenses. Stretch your legs, reset the mood, and get the road refreshed. Studs, powered by Green Fuel, exit 66A in Wiggins. When folks want to know more about what we do here at Rival Services, we first let them know that we are born and bred right here in Morgan County. We're the local experts who live here, built our business here, and we are not going anywhere. We offer production and lease operators, midstream valve maintenance, gate guard services, and portable toilets, and rental equipment such as light plants, generators, and heaters. Visit us online at rivalservices.net. We are Rival Services.
Welcome back into play. With the count at 0-1, new pitcher Justin Bowling for Morgan County. All this in a 5-0 game. As here's Braden Basie. The 0-1, another throw over to first with C.J. King lurking and first. Got a 5-0 lead. This time, Nebraska scoring their 2 runs with nobody out. Fouled back by Basie. With Justin Bowling in. Your Silas Bauke last an inning facing 9 batters. And allowing 3 hits. 0-2 to Basie. In the air to center field. Griffin claims and scoring with ease is Matlock, and it's a 6-0 lead for Nebraska.
We saw this the other day against Caden Ferguson. The Outlaws just refusing to get that first out of the inning on the offensive side. We're seeing that again here. The first 5 have all reached.
With precision, Gideon Leslie steps aboard as he aims to continue the scoring entourage from Nebraska. Throw over to second. King is put on the peg. It goes back to the same philosophy. Do what you can to escape the inning. With still nobody out, 2 runners aboard, and a 6-0 lead for Nebraska. Bowling delivers upstairs for ball 1. How tough is it to inherit a game where you have several runners aboard?
It can be tough at times. You typically want to put a new pitcher in a clean inning, especially somebody like Balling who has started, at least in his one appearance for the Pioneers against these Outlaws. She had success.
1 ball and 1 strike. Balling gazes the runner King at second. Ball 2. Gideon Leslie, a 4-hit weekend. Here's the 2-1. 3-1 the count.
And it's free passes and then just missing pitches over the heart of the plate. Outlaws have capitalized so far.
3-1 to Gideon Leslie. Listen, a 6-0 game. As both sides of the equation have been firing for Nebraska, as this is fouled out of play. A full count for Gideon Leslie.
This is a big first out that you need to get right here, especially in this heart of the order.
And Bowling doesn't see it there. A walk to load up the bases for Xander Martinez. So you have Martinez at the plate. Still nobody out with the bases loaded. Not to mention the RBI king is on deck in Jaden Barrio. Chopper, that is dropped. Throw to second. And scoring is CJ King. And it's a 7-0 lead with Leslie safe at second base. So a tough play. So everybody's safe, and the lead is up to 7 for Jaden Barrio. An opportunity arises, and he is hit off of his bat, however. Margins away from being hit again, and being another outlaw that is the case. But in the end, a strike nonetheless. Check swing, and the throw gets away. Basie is caught. Losing the ball is Bowling. Throw over to first, gets away. 1 run scores. Here comes Leslie. He scores for Nebraska, and it's a 9-0 lead. Throw over to third, and safe is Martinez.
And as my old coach used to say, you do not want to get caught in the quicksand. And if you're the Wranglers right now, you are neck deep in it right now. Want to try and respond, not let those mistakes compound, but those mistakes are compounding in many forms here for the Wranglers.
So after all that, 9-0 lead. Grounder by Barrio. Throw over to first is in time for the first out, but scoring on the play is Xander Martinez.
And Barrio adds to that RBI total on the season, bringing him to 17.
So it's a 10-0 lead. With 1 gone. But a 10-0 lead for Nebraska. Lee takes a swinging strike. With the count at 0-1 for him. The base path's empty.
He's the last outlaw hitter that has not hit in this inning. They've now hit around here in this top half of the 6th. 7 runs in, just 1 out.
You want offense? There is plenty of it. Throw gets away from Bowling. Runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. The question, Morgan County, as the pitch descends on the count of 3-1. You're Morgan County, you got plenty of of offense 2 weeks ago. A walk of Kingston Lee brings on Christian McKernan.
The second time this inning.
They have had it around.
The Outlaws taking a bit of a different approach here to bat around in this one. They scored 10 and brought 13 hitters to the plate. This time it's been a lot more hits than free passes here. Wranglers defense hasn't necessarily helped out either, and now the Wranglers are just 6 outs away from going home early in this one.
Throw over to first after strike that was dealt. Safe was Lee, 1-1 the count. And the run rule is 10 runs after 7 innings of play. Another pickoff attempt from Balling of Lee. Now remains at 1-1. So that brings in DeMine as a fastball on McKernan leads to a strike. But if you're Morgan County in a 10-run game, how do you build momentum into tomorrow? Here's the 1-2. In the air to left and foul.
You just have to flush this one, let it sting a little bit, but don't let that creep into next game. There's nothing you can do about this one. You try and put together some runs here and try and make this one interesting.
And a strikeout leads to the second out of the inning. The retirement of McKernan brings on Isaiah Berea. Mario takes the first pitch ball.
And for the Outlaws here, Alonsi Prasad has been on the bench for a long time. It'll be interesting to see if they send him or Bumjin Cho out to the mound here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. That can oftentimes mess up pitchers. We saw that yesterday with Caden Ferguson. That long delay had a little bit of trouble for him.
That long extended delay. Part of a lot of precipitation that's affected the entire league this weekend. Called strike on Murillo. Runs the count to 2-1. 10-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County. And this time, ball dealt. 3-1 the count.
You have to end this inning right here. If you are the Wranglers, you want to try and play all 9 in this one.
They also have to score. Strike dealt. Justin Balling aims to record that out that was much needed, and instead, a walk. So Kingston Lee is at second base. Dea Murillo on first. Grayson Matlock batting 8th, steps in. See what Matlock can do in a 10-0 game. Topped by Balling for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Towering fly ball in foul territory and out of play. Justin Balling in relief has already been up to 31 pitches. With Kingston Lee at second base, Isaiah Murillo on first. The 1-1. Fouled in the exact same spot. How's your golf game?
It's not great, not as good as I want it to be. I like to normally play during the summer. Haven't necessarily had the time or the funds to do so.
the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A delivery to Matlock. Full count.
You have to try and end this inning. You don't want it to extend any further. You don't want to load those bases once again.
Line drive in through for a hit. Lee stays put at third, and the bases are loaded again. Ty Ramsey limited the carnage, but still 2 outs in the inning. CJ King steps aboard, 1 for 3 today for Nebraska. And a 10-0 lead. And once again, it's Nebraska putting up crooked number on Morgan County in back-to-back games. Ball 1 dealt.
CJ King already hit in this inning. Already an RBI in this inning. He's got 2 more if he can find outfield grass once again.
Swinging strike. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike to King. Upstairs. 2-1 the count. What do you like the most about treks from Gehring to Fort Morgan? Time called.
I got the opportunity to talk to both pitching coach AC and Gene Grunfelder today. He was doing a little bit of recruiting for his school over at Hood College. He's having success as well in his responses. He was loving to see. Just talking to the guys, getting to know them is a fun part of those trips.
Count at 3-1 to King. Batting in the 9 spot. The 3-1. Bases loaded walk. And that makes it an 11-0 game.
And it's now going to be the 14th batter of the inning coming to the plate in the form of Braden Basie. They had a 13 batter inning. Now it is a 14 batter inning in this one.
And you talk about, you look at the scoring that's been done. How about last night? A 10-run inning.
This Outlaws
In the
offense.
6th, throw sneaks away from Dyer, but not enough to cause any further base running.
This Outlaws offense has been quite potent. Their last 14 innings scoring 29 runs.
I think that's a lot. The 1-0. Grounder that gets through. Another run comes in to score. It's a 12-0 game. A 3rd run scores. It's been a scoring entourage. And for the 2nd consecutive game, Nebraska has crafted a 10-run inning.
Quite impressive this offense has been so far.
You want scoring, you got that, and plenty of it. In a 13-0 game. Voltage in play. And you talk about predicting in many ways. How about predicting an impending 5-game win streak?
That impending 5-game win streak is on its way, most likely, and it might be in run rule fashion. If those Wranglers want to keep playing, they're going to need to score 4 over the next 6 outs.
Something tells me that somebody is grinding their teeth. Still 2 outs, as it has been a message sent by Nebraska. With runners on second and first. First pitch strike to Gideon Leslie. Here's the 0-1. Look to chase. Called strike.
And a lot of this, I think, is them seeing these Wranglers pitchers enough and getting familiar with them and then making adjustments. They did not look good the last time they faced Balling, and they have not missed this time.
In the air to left. Ferguson surveys a catch made by Griffin. And that retires the side, but not after an incredible scoring display by Nebraska. In the top half of the sixth, Nebraska scores 10 runs off of 6 hits and 2 errors, all that with 2 left on base. We head to the bottom of the sixth with the score, Nebraska 13, Morgan County no score.
I like a little bit more of like the rock. 1400 KFGM. Wi-Fi saddles range. One family care. Work from home. Influence all day. Screen all night. And game to win. Deadline, download, and dance offs. All happening under one roof. Your internet provider do that? Help fiber fuel your. We don't want Bob to have any hair. We want to do it specifically in the season.
Cracked windshields are so annoying. They're also pretty dangerous to drive with. That's why Shine On Automotive has a great offer just for you. Shine On Automotive to replace your windshield, and you'll receive 2 free rock chip repairs. Shine On has the most advanced recalibration equipment for windshield installation, and they'll even file your insurance plan. So quit dealing with that cracked windshield and schedule your replacement today with Shine On Automotive.
That was quite a bit of scoring, you might say. 13-0 lead for Nebraska on Morgan County, as Daryl Dallin steps in with a 13-run mountain to climb.
About the only battle those Wranglers might win today is Jaden Chivera over Tommy Quintana. They're both standing outside their dugouts still.
Well, it's a stalemate for now. A fastball dealt for ball 1. On Seepersod still on the mound.
Sitting down for a while. Should be interesting to see how he bounces back.
2 straight pitches in the dirt. With the lead at 13, how difficult is it to be taking a seat for so long? In the air to left with the run, Kingston Lee, and he's able to make the catch for out number 1.
Well, your offense has made it pretty easy for you. The approach becomes pretty simple for Seepersod. Just pitch to the bat. Let your defense do the work for you. That's been very much what he's been doing all day today. That's what he's been successful with.
Off to an opportunistic start. Kyle Dyer steps in. Seepersod has relinquished only 4 runs, or 4 hits, I should say. 4 hits, and one error was incurred by the fielding crew of Nebraska.
Gotta imagine Seepersod is likely to go the rest of the way unless those Wranglers can score 4.
Score as many runs as they have hits in the game. Another strike. And for Seepersod, talk about making the fastest of impacts. And another strikeout for C. Persad. 68 pitches on the outing. And C. Persad recorded 6 strikeouts.
This is
Oddly enough, Morgan County has more strikeouts with 8. Then again, this rolls away from Noah Dupaya.
C. Prasad making this one of the more dominant showings we've seen in Front Range League play so far. Him on the pitching side of things and that offense doing what they do, putting up 10 runs in that last inning. Outlaws won last week over the Pioneers 14-1.
Swinging strength on the part of Noah Dupaya. 2-1 the count.
That was a little bit different. That's a little bit of a smaller roster for the Pioneers. Not as much length out of them, and they were tired in that game where they lost 14-1. This is a well-rested Wranglers team that seemingly not looking like they should be on the same field as the Outlaws right now.
Swing and a miss. And that retires the side 1, 2, 3 in order. We head to the 7th inning. Nebraska leads Morgan County 13-0.
Special occasions, holidays, or just because. Women in your life deserve Double R embroidery. At Double R, we've got custom drinkware and a big water cup, which every woman deserves to own. Does she have a birthday coming up? Maybe she landed that promotion or nailed her big meeting. Or perhaps you just want her to know how special she is to you. Find her the gift that says it all at Double R Embroidery in downtown Fort Morgan. Shop us in-store or online at doublershop.com. Today's small business owners know just how much hard work is involved in starting and growing a business. But the challenges involved are not for you. You're all in. Still, it doesn't hurt to have some good neighborly help, like yourself. State Farm agent Amy Grantham is also a small business owner. This enables her to help you choose the right insurance coverage to fit your small business needs. So why not insure your small business with a fellow small business owner who also happens to be a good neighbor?
Call me, State Farm agent Amy Grantham, today.
The best fix for downtime. Prevented in the first place. Lincoln Thematic and Field and products, plus a dealer who's ready when you need them. You get fast service and reliable support all season long, so you can stay focused on your crop. Call your local Thematic dealer, Superior Irrigation and Electric, at 970-483-7247, or stop in at 115 Central Avenue in Lincoln to keep your system running strong.
Seventh inning set to ensue with Nebraska with 13 runs on the board. Morgan County yet to score. New pitcher, an addition that flew into town from Fresno last week in Madden Aguilar as he steps in, native of Hanford, California. He is a sophomore going to Coalinga College with head coach T.C. Fairfield serving as an assistant coach at Coalinga. And he faces Xander Martinez. This in the aftermath of what was a 10-run 6th inning. So you look at the numbers that have been scored in the 6th inning by Nebraska. How about 20 runs in the 6th inning in the last 2 games? Aguilar with his first pitch in the league. Dealt for a strike on Martinez.
Martinez wearing the number 6. That might be the lucky number for these Outlaws at this point. Martinez already has an RBI single scored on after reaching on an air last inning.
Aguilar with his second offering that skips into the dirt on Martinez. One and one the count. Aguilar set to deliver. The 1-1 to Martinez in the dirt for ball two.
You're the Outlaws. You got to hold them here, and you just got to hope you put those 4 runs up next inning and try and finish this game off in 9 instead of 7.
It's a 13-run game. Line drive bounces off the third baseman. Throw to first in time for the out. What was tough read. Sufficient for the out, however. As Percy Odell with the throw to retire Martinez. Odell lets one descend away from him from Jaden Barrio. He's aboard of a single. So another hit, make it 9 for Nebraska. Kingston Lee played a huge role in kickstarting that offensive onslaught. Pitch heads for a strike from Aguilar. What's your mindset as a pitcher when you come into a game that is seemingly in hand?
You have to treat this like it's a 3-run game right now, wanting to try and keep your offense in it. There is a little bit less stress involved in these appearances as well, so it's probably good for him to get his feet wet here in the Front Range League in this one.
Last year, Coalinga a record of 16-24. Throw to keep Barrio honest at first. Count 0-2. Here is the 0-2. Skipped in the dirt. Barrio is safe at second base. Runs the count to 1-2.
You're looking a lot smarter than me right now using the tablet instead of the old school scorebook. Turned into a bit of a mess at this point as it was last night.
That's a lot of writing. But the big number that can be easily deemed 10. That being the statement sent by Nebraska. And you think about how at one point Morgan County had season series edge against Nebraska, outscoring the Wranglers last 2 games by a combined 20-0. Ground ball played through Aguilar. There is Yusei with a throw to first, and he is safe. Runners on the corners with 1 out for Christian McKernan.
Defense not helping him out so far in his first appearance here in the Front Range League for Aguilar.
With 1 gone, runners on the corners, in the air from McKernan. Back near the wall, Griffin looks up, and this is gone. A home run for Christian McKernan. And it's a 16-0 lead for Nebraska.
We've been waiting for that power to pop for Christian McKernan. We've already seen him with 2 home runs earlier this season. Safe to say now he's out of that slump. He delivers his league-leading tying 3rd home run of the summer.
And the faithful for Nebraska loves it, as they have orchestrated their level of scoring to the highest degree. They have scored 34 runs over 2 games.
Not even 2 full games at that. Just playing 15 innings in the last 15 innings, scoring those 34 runs.
Strike one dealt to Isaiah Murillo.
Wranglers now needing 7 in the bottom half of this inning. That's kind of what Coach AC talked about when playing here. You got to try and help your pitcher out. Both of those runners making that a 3-run home run were both errors that got them on base. Could have just been a solo shot pretty easily. Could have been out of this inning pretty easily.
Fouled. You talk about crooked numbers. How about outscoring? How about 55 runs over 4 games? The offense has been clicking. How about more 66 runs in 5 games? The numbers are insane. Grounder from Murillo. The throw by Odell is in time for the out. And that retires the side. Or I beg your pardon, that's out number 2. As Grayson Matlock steps aboard. But if you take away the game last night, if you are Nebraska, they've only allowed 2 runs in their last 5 games. Of course, there was a 12-run avalanche last night. But it's easy to say within the last stretch.
And the starting pitching has been the key for that. C. Prasad dealing today, and it's been Brockberry and Carter Reisig doing the same.
The 0-1, grounded foul.
Carter likely to go tomorrow, it sounds like.
Now 2 to Matlock. Aguilar set to deliver. In the dirt for a ball. And Nebraska with a 16-0 lead in the top of the 7th inning. The run rule plays into effect, that being 10 after 7 innings of play. Here's the 2-2. Full count. And the base path's empty. Aguilar on his 21st pitch of the inning. He delivers in the dirt and a walk.
You just try and have to end this inning where you can. These Outlaws are so good with 2 outs. They've done it again today. Don't want that lineup card to flip over once again.
We have 2 outs for C.J. King. In a 16-0 game. Grounder snagged by Aguilar. Underhands to first. And that retires the side. But not before it's Nebraska that's able to score 3 runs off of 3 hits. Off of no errors with 1 left aboard. Morgan County needs 7 to stay alive. Back after this.
Hey there, it's Dustin from A&R Automotive and Tire. We believe in the power of preventative maintenance. Just a little less today can save you from a whole lot of heartache and an empty wallet down the road. We offer everything from oil changes to tire rotations to keep your car in tip-top shape. So give us a call today at A&R Automotive and Tire. Let's keep your ride running smooth. It's a lot easier to prevent a problem than to fix it. Trust me. Visit us at A&R Automotive and Tire and Brush because a smoother ride starts here. Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottle. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles in landfills worldwide? Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right? Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com. At Rudy's Tires, they know your operation is one of a kind. That's why they stock a complete line of sprayer tires. BF row crop, flotation tires, and wheels expertly matched to keep your equipment performing at its best with minimal crop damage. And if you find yourself stuck in the field without a spare, don't worry. Rudy's service trucks can come to you, getting you back up and running fast. Rudy's Tires, your sprayer tire headquarters. We want to roll with you. Learn more at rudystires.com.
We head to the bottom of the seventh here from Fort Morgan, Colorado. Bumjin Cho steps in, replacing Lon Seepersod after 6 innings pitched, allowing 5 hits and 7 strikeouts. As Cho steps in, faces Nick Griffin. Ball 1 dealt, but for Seepersod, you talk about how the offense has sold the storylines today, especially in that 6th inning. But it's the defense that certainly made an impact from Seepersod as foul from Griffin on Cho evens up the count of 1 ball and 1 strike. But you look at what Nebraska can build off of this offense, especially the defense, and in a league that tends to have quite a bit of scoring, bodes as a very good sign for Nebraska. Ball 2 dealt though.
You gotta try and take this momentum in this win streak that is likely going to reach 5. You want to try and make it 6 tomorrow and just kind of establish dominance. You're already in first place in the Front Range League. Obviously, you're probably going to play the Wranglers in that playoff series.
Swinging strike on the part of Griffin.
If you're the Wranglers, you just have to flush this one. You can't let these last 2 games get in your head.
Count runs full on Griffin.
Bumjin Cho out of Gwanggi-do, South Korea. He's going to have a fastball, curveball, and splitter mix. He really likes that splitter.
There it is. Got a hit for Nick Griffin. Lunging throw attempt on the try from CJ King and allows for Griffin to head to second.
Gideon Leslie probably just should have held on to that one. I think he knows it.
So runner aboard. Morgan County needs 7 runs to extend the game. Grounder played by the third baseman Lee. Throw over to first for out number 1. So staying put was Griffin with 1 out. Cho set to deliver. And the strike.
2 international players squaring off here. Hoshi Yusei out of Hiroshima, Japan.
Between 2 nations, continent of Asia. 1-1 the count.
Cho playing up at Skagit Valley in Washington State.
Grounder from Yusei, mishandled by Cho. He throws, and he gets away. Yusei digging for second. Griffin at third. Runners at third and second with 1 out.
A lot of self-inflicted wounds here. Don't necessarily love to see this to end this one if you are the Outlaws.
And if you're Morgan County, you are clinging to any optimism you can find. With one out for Tyler Lewis, ball one taken. We do have to name a player of the game. Jaden Chavera, certainly in line for that for Morgan County. 1-0. He is still standing.
Tommy Quintana as well down there on that third base line. I think those legs are starting to hurt a little bit.
Did you ever do that?
Did not do that. Not sure that those antics would necessarily fly on the travel ball team I played for. Especially not in the bureaucracy that is public high school baseball in Seattle. Probably would not fly there as well.
With the likes of O'Day, Eastside Catholic involved.
They're always up to something though, so.
Welcome to Front Range League, where we list schools in the Metro League in Washington State. 16-0 lead for Nebraska in the bottom of the seventh. Runners on third and second for Morgan County. Fastball grounded, caught by Cho. He throws to first, 2 away.
He's able to avenge himself a little bit there. Great athletic play to snag that one.
So here is Gus Brumbaugh. With hopes to stay alive and prevent a 5-game winning streak for Nebraska. Swinging strike on the first pitch that Brumbaugh sees.
Really like the way that Cho has responded here to both of those errors. One of them inflicted by himself. Really let that get to your head at times, especially if you're a pitcher.
The 0-1 grounded foul. The count at 0-2. Keep in mind, this was a scoreless game after 2 innings of play. Here is the 0-2. And a strikeout to end the game. So it's Nebraska that wins it 16-0 and extends their Front Range League win streak to 5 games in a row off of 10 hits, 3 errors. Morgan County, no runs up at 4 hits and 3 errors, which concludes the ball game. And it's victory for Nebraska. They win it 16-0. But Bob, we take a look at what we've seen here today. Talk about a statement weekend for Nebraska. They were trailing 10-5 last night, and the end result, the end of the following day, is a statement to the league.
Crazy to think that just not that long ago, this Outlaws team was sitting in the cellar of that Front Range League. Now they have established a bit of dominance here with a 18-run performance last night and a 16-run performance tonight. In just 15 innings of offense, they score 34 runs.
And this certainly a statement as far as Nebraska is concerned, so much so that they look to do it again tomorrow. Start time at 6:35 against Morgan County. But that's all the time that we have for tonight's broadcast. Special thank you to everyone who makes this broadcast possible. Special thank you to our engineer and Hayden Fisher pushing the buttons for us, as is the case for Braxton Erickson to bring this broadcast to you. And that's all the time we have for tonight's broadcast. And for Bob Parsons, I'm Danny Box saying so long and take care, and thanks for being with us. Your final score: Nebraska Outlaws 16, Morgan County Wranglers no score. This is Morgan County Wranglers baseball on Hometown Radio KFTM.
There are builders, and then there are game changers. At Buildings by Design, they make the process simple. From small ag shops to large commercial builds, they can handle your project from start to finish, keeping things on schedule and on budget, all without ever compromising on quality. Experience you can trust, precision you can see, and quality you can stand on. Buildings by Design. Start your project today at buildingsbydesign.com. McDonald Toyota of Fort Morgan is part of the McDonald Automotive Group and has been serving Colorado since 1965. As your Toyota dealer in Fort Morgan, they have a wide selection of new Toyota models along with hundreds of quality pre-owned vehicles across the McDonald Automotive Group. They believe doing right comes naturally, and they treat customers with a personal attention that can be hard to find. Proud to be your local new car dealer, McDonald Toyota, off Exit 80 in Fort Morgan. Online at McDonaldToyotaFortMorgan.com. You've been listening to Morgan County Wrangler Baseball on Hometown Radio KFTM and the Media Logic Sports Network. Tonight's exclusive play-by-play broadcast was brought to you by Stubbs Gas and Oil, powered by Creed Fuels, Rival Services, Allo Communications, University Napa, the Taylor Agency, Big Johnson Construction, Shine On Automotive, The Block, Les Schwab Tires, and Lodorn Lumber. Wranglers Baseball on Hometown Radio KFTM was also brought to you by Pepsi, Morgan County Tourism, Morgan Community College, Far Corner, Pioneer Distributing, Kinsale Properties, 21st Century Equipment, Star Athletic Club, Cargill, and Edwards Right Price Market. Stay tuned for more Wranglers Baseball on the Media Logic Sports Network and Hometown Radio KFTM, AM 1400, 94.1 FM, Fort Morgan, Brush, Wigan.